Welcome to the release of the Fedcap Group fiscal year 2025 first half financial and programmatic results. All participants are currently in listen-only mode. We are joined today by the Fedcap Group's President and CEO, Christine McMahon, and Chief Financial Officer, Carol Corey. Today's presentation will cover key areas, including program performance and highlights, financial results, and strategic growth initiatives. Following the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. To participate in the Q&A, please use the raise hand feature in your Zoom toolbar. Once your hand is raised, you will be called on and a pop-up will prompt you to unmute your microphone. Please select unmute to ask your question. Please note that this session is being recorded. At this time, I'll turn the program over to Christine McMahon. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Ari, and a special thanks to Advisory Partners, our INR partner, for their ongoing work in preparing our release. Their not-for-profit division has guided our release since its inception in 2015. I'm joined this morning by our CFO, Carol Corey, and we both thank all of you on the line for your interest in our organization and our participation in this morning's call. This release is in keeping with our philosophy of transparency, and we continue to expand both our transparency and overall continuous improvement efforts across a wide range of stakeholders. I also want to thank our board members for today's call. They have driven our overall transparency agenda, including this call, and with certainty our board makes us much stronger. In addition to our board members, our impact is fueled by many strategic community partners, key advisors, donors, our government partners, and of course, our dedicated and committed staff. On slide 5, our operating principles focus on 3 key areas: sustainable financial health, on measured impact, which includes not only top-tier service, but also the value add that amplifies well beyond required performance metrics, targeting those areas that propel individuals into economic mobility toward the middle class. This is behind our wage and wealth focus, our parent education and financial literacy initiatives. It drives our integrated approach within our 4 practice areas. And finally, our long-term goal is to develop ways to inoculate the helping systems with new and innovative approaches. These efforts are critical if we are to fulfill our long-term mission of economic mobility for all. On slide 6, our reach continues to grow. Almost 3,500 employees working within 25 companies serve roughly 160,000 people just this first half, a 9% increase over this time last year. We work across the US and the UK and in Canada. And later in the presentation, we'll describe a new market entry in Australia. We operate 270 contracts across 111 locations throughout a growing footprint. On slide 8, our work is pursued through 4 main areas of practice directly linked to economic mobility. Now representing 18% of our total revenues, education continues to be the fastest growing practice in our group. Education, of course, is a powerful tool for economic mobility. Individuals who complete our program see a significant increase in employment rates and earnings, building not only their futures, but stronger communities in the process. We offer a comprehensive array of tailored programs, industry-recognized skilled training, and post-secondary certifications that accompany individuals through every stage of their educational journey. From early childhood education through post-secondary learning and beyond, we provide the tools, support, and resources necessary for individuals to thrive. Because we know that when people have access to quality education at every stage of life, they gain more than knowledge. They gain the power to shape their future and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Within our growing workforce programs, which represents 40% of our work, we prepare individuals for lasting success in today's workforce, offering personalized career coaching and direct connection to employers. A good job does more than provide a paycheck. It builds financial security, purpose, and upward mobility. National data shows that individuals who move from public assistance to stable employment are 5 times more likely to escape poverty, and individuals who complete workforce training programs are twice as likely to remain employed, and often see income gains of up to 40% within 18 to 24 months. Employment offers compounding returns, access to employer-sponsored benefits, retirement savings, increased credit access, as well as long-term wage growth. Our work not only links people to jobs, they build careers that reduce reliance on safety nets and create lasting economic mobility. Fedcap's health practice is a core component of our mission. We focus on both health and resource-related barriers to employment and economic mobility. Health is foundational to economic mobility. Without physical and mental well-being, individuals face significant barriers to consistent employment, education, and financial stability. We know that poor health increases long-term dependence on public systems. The defining feature of our approach is our unique ability to bring together elements of our core practice areas. Rather than offering siloed or parallel services, we integrate key elements of education or workforce, embedding, for example, high-quality health interventions inside workforce programs or education programs, but also vice versa, using education and workforce elements inside our health interventions. This holistic model produces significantly better outcomes than the fragmented service delivery system we often see. For example, stabilizing someone's health dramatically increases their ability to engage in training, pursue employment, and sustain economic mobility. This is not just a social imperative, it's an economic one. In the US, chronic disease and mental health conditions cost employers more than $300 billion annually due to absenteeism or productivity and turnover. In the UK, 1 in 10 working age adults now claim sickness or disability benefits, costing $53 billion annually, with projections reaching $70 billion by decade's end. Our integrated strategy, powered by services like behavioral health, substance use treatment, wellness programming, and tools such as single stop, help individuals stabilize, access resources, and move forward with a purpose. It's this graded, deeply localized, and government-aligned approach that has made us successful in Canada, across the US, and across the UK, and positions us well to make a meaningful, long-term impact in new markets. And finally, economic development, representing 36% of our work, more than 1,000 employees, and the longest-standing work at the Fedcap Group. This work is comprised of social enterprise models, community and economic capacity building through our recently launched CDFI, a community development and finance institution. Our small business development and entrepreneurship efforts are focused on local economies and services. It will include business plan development, mentorship, and assistance with assessing capital. Our social enterprises are long-standing revenue-generating enterprises that also provide on-the-job training within inclusive workspaces. These enterprises also offer transitional employment opportunities for individuals facing barriers to entry in the labor market. Our combined expertise and qualifications in these 4 areas of practice, along with targeted value-add services, are very much aligned with the needs of funding agencies, employers, and consumers. On slide 10, a quick summary of our first half before we get into the specifics. Thanks to our dedicated staff and partner agencies, we had a strong first half. Our operating performance, both within our existing contracts, but also our ramp up of new contracts, was very much mission aligned and delivered at top tier levels. As mentioned, we served just about 160,000 individuals, on track to hit 250,000 by year's end. Children make up over 6,000 of those directly served, and 7,000 of those served were veterans. We placed over 13,000 people in good quality jobs, on track for an overall increase by year's end of 6% over last year. For the first half of 2025, our revenue hit 188 million, net assets of 99, both up slightly from this time last year. At the end of Q2, we executed a total annual contract value of 198 million, mostly recompetes with new projects representing roughly 12 million, bringing total contract value to over 1.3 billion. We expect to hit our year-end target of 380 million. Our pipeline is solid with over 2.7 billion in prospects, 11% of which is qualified and in development. Of significance, 79% of our qualified pipeline is new business, all mission aligned. All of our work is focused on providing responsible solutions that positively impact economic mobility. On slides 12 and 13, we'll move into a review of our program results. In education, now operating both across the US and across the UK. This first half, we enrolled 34,000 students, a 55% increase over last year, with completion and job rates well above industry norms. Our early education programs, where we track developmental advances, are all far exceeding federal standards. We're focused on the developmental skills that most align with life success, such as social emotional functioning and family engagement in learning. We continue our rapid expansion in the high-demand clean energy sector and technology sectors. We're excited to announce that this first half, we launched Apex Clean Energy Training internationally, now operating in the UK. We completed our first cohort and folks are already moving toward employment. We transitioned TAC, a trade school for those with autism in Colorado, to the state's first ever specialized day school, a big milestone for TAC. With total contract revenue over 70 million and a qualified pipeline at 15 million, 10 of which is new projects, we're on track with year-end projections of 75 million and continued growth through 2026. Our priorities include continued expansion, both in the US and international, with focus on those with disabilities, early childhood, education, and the trades. We continue our efforts to create additional post-secondary degree granting initiatives. On slides 14 and 15, our workforce practice highlights operate across the US and across Canada as well, across the UK and Canada as well. We executed $122 million in opportunities this first half, much of that recompetes. We're proud partners with government funders such as the Department of Work and Pension across Britain, in Ontario, the Ministry of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development. We have a broad range of funding partners across the USA, partners such as the District of Columbia's Department of Health and Human Services, Tennessee's Department of Human Services, Maine's Department of Human Services, in New York, the Department of Aging and Human Resource Administration, all just to name a few. We also benefit from a group of highly effective community partners. This first half, our dedicated staff, in partnership with over 50 community providers company-wide, secured over 13,000 jobs for people across our programs. We are thrilled with these outcomes. It reflects the great work being done at the local level, serving people with disabilities, health barriers, Indigenous, asylum seekers, the justice involved, and others, all needing results-oriented employment services. Our retention at 78% over 180 days. In Canada, this first half, we launched the Center of Excellence with the intent of driving workforce inclusion to scale with evidence-based strategies. Our Inspiring Futures program in the UK was extended for another year. This program supports over 200 people with both disabilities and also health conditions, and 120 of them have secured employment this first half. We see continued growth in the second half. In particular, we're integrating health and workforce more deliberately. For instance, in the UK, where over 2.8 million people currently on sick benefits could benefit from our specialized employment services. Our workforce pipeline is strong with 56 million in submitted proposals awaiting decisions and another 130 million in qualified new business not yet submitted, but will be over the next 6 to 12 months. On slides 15 and 16, our health practice supports are aimed at an array of important determinants of well-being, including securing community and government resources within Single Stop, our benefit screening tool. This first half, we provided direct health and wellness services to almost 24,000 individuals. Over 84% of those receiving health and wellness experienced dramatically improved health. We've expanded mental health services in several ways, including our continued expansion of our clubhouse model, which now exists in the US and in the UK, but also services to those with substance misuse issues. And we have expanded health services to those people with a disability, all with great employment results. We'll continue to see expanded services to people with disabilities, particularly individuals with autism. Easter Seals in Mississippi is launching a mental health clinic. We're in exciting discussions with managed care providers to extend access to mental health services and other health services. This first half, 29,000 individuals were screened to determine eligibility for federal, state, or local benefits through Single Stop. This is an increase of 8% from last year. In the first half, we had connected households to a total of $353 million, which is roughly $22,000 per household on average of eligible benefits and support. Within that number, this first half, we served almost 5,000 college students across 73 colleges. Over 9,000 children and over 560 veterans were screened. Also noteworthy, of the 9,000 children screened, 4,600 fell between the ages of 0 and 8. We developed partnerships with many new colleges and universities this first half: Southern New Hampshire University, University of Maryland Global Campus, University of Illinois, and we added another utility company, Petco Holdings, an Exelon company that serves utility customers in the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Delaware. Our benefits coverage and community resources map to all 50 states and the District of Columbia. This first half, we executed 14 million in contracts. Much of this recompete. Our pipeline is growing with 73 million in qualified opportunities, 26 million new, and an expected steady growth over the second half of the year. On slides 18, 19, and 20, our economic development practice. Through our supported work opportunities, we employed over 1,000 individuals this first half, adding 95 new jobs across our footprint, with an average salary over 30% higher than minimum wages. We executed 43 million in contracts, of which 10 million was new business. And in addition to wage, a critical component of our work and focus is long-term wealth building. Long-term wealth alongside wage is essential for economic mobility. We embedded financial literacy, parent education, and a host of educational tools across our platform with visible results. We have driven a combined savings of almost 157 million in retirement savings, a 14% increase from this time last year. Over 4,000 of our employees, a 5.6% increase over last year, are now participating in retirement plans. Most impressive is that well over 50% of those whose lives we are affecting are minority groups, historically savings well below average. This year, we acquired 2 mission-aligned companies, Elite, a supported employment company headquartered in Wales, led by a very seasoned leader, Andrea Wayman, a great board of directors and a talented staff. They've established a strong reputation by partnering with local employers, agencies, and community organizations to provide job coaching and placement, ongoing work in supported employment, employer engagement, and education. This acquisition represents a strategic expansion for the Fedcap Group in the UK, strengthening its capacity to deliver high-quality, person-centered employment services to people with disabilities. By integrating the Elite's specialized expertise across the UK, we can further enhance its mission of providing economic opportunity and support to those who face barriers to employment and economic mobility, while amplifying Elite's success across a broader network of shareholders. Ultimately, bringing Elite under the Fedcap Group's umbrella creates additional opportunities for innovation, knowledge sharing, and service growth, benefiting both participants and communities throughout the region. We also acquired One Way of Dreams and its subsidiary company Gamut, both focused on disability. In this case, the adaptable fashion industry and One Way of Dreams and Gamut focused on creating a more inclusive fashion landscape for people with disabilities. Founded by Mindy Shear, and supported by a terrific team and a powerful board, a dedicated board, One Way and Gamut collaborate with top fashion brands to introduce or expand adaptive clothing lines and promote industry-wide education on inclusive design. By hosting fashion show awareness campaigns and fostering brand partnerships, One Way of Dreams spotlights the power of adaptive apparel to empower people of all abilities. Meanwhile, Gamut, a consulting and talent management arm, works with the entertainment industry, designers, retailers, and innovators to ensure every step in the fashion pipeline includes perspectives from the disability community. From concept to launch, Gamut's strategic guidance helps brands and employers build truly inclusive products. Bringing One Way of Dreams and Gamut under the Fedcap Group umbrella enhances the collective capacity to break down barriers to opportunities, whether in the workforce, on the runway, TV, or stage. This acquisition not only reinforces the Fedcap Group's commitment to inclusive employment and community engagement, but also opens the door for broader collaboration and innovation, social impact across fashion, design, entertainment industries, and well beyond. And finally, we are quite excited to announce that our CDFI launched this past year has made its first loan available in partnership with the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. We couldn't be more thrilled. I'd like to now turn the presentation over to our CFO, Carol Corey, who will review additional financial metrics.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be reporting on the Fedcap Group's financial performance for the first 6 months of FY25, ending March 31st. If we turn to slide 21, it's a snapshot of the ongoing political and economic headwinds that we are all acutely aware of. We remain unaffected and see opportunity. For example, Fedcap's workforce practice is well positioned to help state and local governments, both nationally and internationally, to address large and small-scale workforce gaps. The funding across a wide variety of government programs is still intact and provides sufficient opportunity for continued growth. Slide 22. Our first results on slide 22 show growth. Our first half results on slide 22 show gross revenue for the period at 188.2 million, or more than 8.5% greater than the same period in FY24. and on track to meet our year-end budget. Our interim FY25 revenues remain well diversified and absent any customer funder concentrations. And our contracts and opportunities are spread out geographically, by contract type, and by business practice. Our financial performance this period and going forward will be a carefully managed effort to continue to diversify and increase revenue and margin while continuing to maintain and enhance our reputation for excellence in the delivery of needed services to the at-risk populations we serve. Slide 23 is our financial summary. Fedcap's interim 2025 balance sheet has improved with an increase in liquidity and stable balance sheet ratios. Our enhanced balance sheet will be instrumental as a source of short and long-term capital to fund Fedcap's anticipated program growth. The $7.8 million increase in liquidity, measured by cash and investments from $27.5 million at the end of March 24 to $34.3 million at the end of March 25, is due to a much improved effort to convert our contract receivables to cash. This included faster and more accurate billing, including the use of enhanced technology and the careful negotiation of terms for all new opportunities to enhance the timing of repayment. The evidence of the success of this effort is the reduction in Fedcap's DSO to 59 days this period from 71 days for the same period last year. We expect Fedcap's liquidity to continue to improve due to our constant effort to increase margin and cash conversion negotiated into the terms of our renewals and new business opportunities. Over the next 12 months, we also plan on more private and municipal contributions to replace the funds used to develop Civic Hall. Slide 24, key financial ratios. Fedcap achieved an operating margin of 0.15% of gross revenues in the first 6 months of 2025. Our operating efficiencies are measured by our personnel costs and program expenses relative to gross revenue, and we achieved ratios of 54% and 88% respectively. Fedcap's interim operating margins in FY25 match FY24. Our interim cash available for debt service for 2025 is 1.78 times greater than the contracted amount of funded debt service payments, and this ratio exceeds all bank covenants. Slide 25. As you can see, our overall strategy continues to deliver. Our overall growth strategy is driven by a powerful combination of strong organic expansion, reflecting our ability to consistently deliver outcomes that matter, and strategic acquisitions, which contribute approximately 25% of our growth. These acquisitions allow us to scale proven models and extend our impact across new markets. In parallel, we're investing in innovative ventures, accounting for 15% of our growth that align with emerging needs and future opportunities. This balanced approach, grounded in financial sustainability, measurable outcomes, as reflected in our 97% recompete rate, and a culture of innovation, ensures that we grow with purpose, resilience, and long-term value. Slide 26 tells the story of intentional and strategic growth, marked by a significant shift from a highly concentrated portfolio in FY 2010 to a well-balanced and diversified one projected for year-end 2025. And we expect this to continue well into the future. In just over a decade, the Fedcap Group has grown from single-focused $74 million to a projected $379 million, expanding across 4 core practice areas. While workforce development remains our largest area, our most rapid growth is now in education, driven by acquisitions and the launch of innovative programs in high-demand fields like advanced technology and clean energy. Simultaneously, our legacy social enterprises are stronger than ever, having doubled in size. We have built a robust economic development practice, which includes a CDFI community development arm, having made our first loan this first half. We are now focused on expanding our health practice to include hard-to-reach individuals who need better engagement with health systems. And we are expanding our disability offerings to new geographies. This diversification enhances our impact, strengthens our financial stability, and allows us to remain agile and responsive to emerging social and economic needs. Slide 27. This slide highlights another key dimension of our growth strategy, smart revenue diversification. While government contracts remain our core funding source, we are intentionally increasing the share of fee-for-service and philanthropic revenue to strengthen financial resilience. Already, by 2025, we have made notable progress, reducing contract revenue from 84% to 70%, with further gains projected, reaching 30% fee-for-service by 2030. We are also deliberately increasing philanthropic revenue, recognizing its critical role in supporting innovation, filling funding gaps, and advancing long-term mission priorities. In any uncertain political or economic climate, this diversified approach reduces reliance on volatile public funding and creates more stable, flexible, and mission-aligned revenue streams. Thank you for your time, and now back to Chris.
Thank you, Carol. And as Carol's report details, we are focused on sustained financial health, continuation of innovation, and measured impact, but also positioned well against any possible headwinds. Slide 30, our pipeline. While ensuring program and revenue diversity will continue to offset any headwinds or disruptions that could come our way, our pipeline too is a strong indicator of continued success. Our total group pipeline is just over 2.7 billion in total, and almost 300 million of that qualified and preparing to submit over the next 6 to 12 months. 166 million is currently already submitted and waiting decisions, 62 million of which is new business. All in line with our goals, but also aligned with the current government's stated need. This pipeline is also consistent with the diversification objectives that Carol mentioned in her report. Our win rates remain solid at 21% for new business and 97% of recompeting, both excellent results. On slide 31, announcing a new market growth strategy in Australia. This expansion into Australia represents a significant long-term opportunity to embed our proven models in a country deeply committed to advancing disability employment. With an estimated $8 billion program value over the next few years, Australia offers not only scale, but also alignment with our core mission. Our success in other international markets, such as Canada and across the UK, has shown that our secret sauce lies in building strong, trusted local partnerships, investing the time to understand the policy and cultural landscape, and aligning closely with government priorities. We don't simply export a model, we adapt, we co-create, and we deliver in ways that reflect the needs and strengths of each region. Our collaborative, outcomes-driven approach, combined with decades of experience in helping people with disabilities secure employment, positions us to make meaningful and lasting impact in Australia. We will now take questions from the group.
We will now begin the question and answer session. As a reminder, to participate in the Q&A, please use the raise hand feature in your Zoom toolbar. Once your hand is raised, you'll be called on and a pop-up will prompt you to unmute your microphone. Please select unmute to ask your question, and this portion will be audio only. You will not appear on video. At this time, we'll pause momentarily to assemble our roster. The first question comes from Michael Turpin with USI.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations again on this amazing progress. And not only that, given the headwinds, the expanded vision for what's possible in and outside of the US. I have a quick question on Civic Hall. It's become a vital space for the collaboration, innovation, and workforce development. And with the renaming to the Bernard Goldstein Center, it's clear that there's more ambitions ahead. Just curious if you could share what's next for Civic Hall, and are there new initiatives, partnerships, or programs on the horizon that we should get excited about?
Thanks, Michael, for this question. Civic Hall has been such a tremendous success. First of all, just some facts. We've hosted over 52,000 visitors. We've trained more than 1,100 people. We've held over 225 events, including some of the city's most cutting-edge technology gatherings. We have more than 1,000 members. It's really the kind of model where diversified, which diversifies our revenue base on memberships, grants, and sponsorships. It's really been a terrific success. A couple of key areas for expansion. First of all, some key innovation sectors like esports. We're currently working with leading esports organizations. For instance, Voice of Intercollegiate Esports, it's VOICE, Voice, a nonprofit organization creating a united voice for collegiate esports. This is a tremendous partnership, and we're really excited about the work we're going to do together. And the Newcastle United Foundation, for example, a preeminent UK-based football organization. They would be the leading voice on developing a long-term sustainable esports model, both domestically and internationally. We're very excited to be adding esports to our portfolio within Civic Hall. We're also working with anchor training partners like a UK-based informations lab, the Data School. We're expanding apprentice opportunities through our work with them. We're working with, of course, the New York City's Economic Development Corporation, and other workforce partners like New York City's Employment Training Council, Saks and Jewels, all helping to align the growing workforce demand in applied AI and green energy technology. So with certainty, we are looking to take this model and expand it both domestically and globally. And I would say within the next second half and into the first half of next year, we should see some solid track gaining momentum in that expansion. Thanks for that question.
Thanks.
Very proud of the work at Civic Hall, and very proud.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Paul Carlisle with Shepherd and Wedderburn.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. Thank you, Christian and Carol, for that presentation. It's very enlightening and inspiring. As you may gather from my accent, I'm from the UK, which leads me to ask you a little bit about your expansion of the international projects. I'm aware of some projects in the UK and inspired by your progress in Australia. Can you guide us a little bit about where the strategic goals are for this expansion and how that fits into your overall model and mission?
That's great. Thank you so much for the question. As you've heard, the economic expansion is very important to our overall strategy. First of all, we've been very successful with strong government and community partnerships. I mean, that has been, I think, a key element of our success. For example, our relationship with, I mentioned the Department of Work and Pensions in the UK and Ontario government in Canada. These are very important relationships, and I think we've been successful in part due to the leadership and dedication of those funding partners and range of community partners throughout our footprint. These are not-for-profit organizations, mission aligned with us, who are working with us in an integrated way. We work together to achieve the goals that we have been able to achieve internationally. And second, I think another key component of the strategy is that, governments worldwide are recognizing the importance of inclusive economic participation. I mentioned some of the stats earlier in the presentation. This is completely aligned to our mission of breaking down barriers to economic mobility and economic well-being. We see that as the key to getting individuals back on track out of poverty, but also to get economies and communities more economically vibrant. In countries like Australia, for example, and in the UK, there's a clear policy focus on integrating people with disabilities into the workforce, strengthening vocational education, workforce health, providing strong mental health supports, and investing in social enterprise solutions. So here we have complete alignment in these environments like Australia and across the UK. And given this, I think we're uniquely positioned to deliver on scalable programs quite globally. We've got proven models that we've quickly expanded, like our Clubhouse model, which is now operating not just across the US, but in the UK. We have strong enterprise capacity, our social enterprise, like our TFM, the legacy operations and large legacy operations at Fedcap, now in line with Elite. in Wales, and these are provable, scalable education models in high demand sectors like green energy, the rapidly advancing technology industry. All of this to say, they make up the total, I think, capability, but also align with government focused strategies. And so I think we're well positioned to advance internationally, and again, with a good track record of delivery across the UK and in Canada. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
The next question comes from David Trusati with Oracle.
Thank you very much, Christine and Carol. You and the entire Fedcap Group continue to be an inspiration to us all. My question was, the report shows strong growth, not only in the contract revenue, but also business development areas. What's Fedcap doing to ensure that it has the infrastructure and talent pipeline in order to maintain this growth effectively across the regions and the service areas?
It's a great question. And of course, first, thanks to strong partnerships with Oracle. That's part of our, that is part of our strategies to ensure that our partnerships with folks like Oracle, Salesforce, as well as our own leading platforms like Fedcap Cares, Case Management, in integrating, and a lot of work goes into integrating these systems because we are so very data driven in our management and results, our sustainable financial domain, all requires high quality integrated access to data management. So we're continuously investing in modernizing this infrastructure within finance, HR, and program systems. All of this is quite critical to supporting the scalable growth. And again, with great partnerships like those with Oracle, we have prioritized these at very high levels. We also centralize the support models that really enables efficient operations while empowering local teams for more tailored execution and delivery. This has been very important as we've scaled globally, ensuring that high quality centralized infrastructure allows for these local teams to pay far more attention to the delivery side, which is needed on the ground. We continue to build a leadership with active recruitment, consistent active recruitment, domestically and internationally, building strong bench for multi-site management. I would say these acquisitions over the years have provided extraordinary talent to our team. And we're very, very excited. I mentioned two just this morning, and we're very excited about the talent that we're able to align with through these acquisitions. And of course, we do rely heavily on enterprise-wide dashboards and internal audits, tracking progress and managing high operational risk. We are, I would say, one of the most risk management oriented organizations that I've come in contact with. We're focused not fearfully on risk management, but with the ability to see through, for distance, the risks that we're all facing, and in our philosophy, sort of the further out you can see those risks, the more quickly and rapidly you can address them. So these are components of our operation that I think is critical to our success, with technology being, certainly the underlying leverage to streamlining these administrations and being able to see and manage risk more rapidly. So thanks for that question, and I think something that is on our minds constantly.
Thank you, Christine.
The next question comes from Peter Eliopoulos, retired real estate developer from Massachusetts.
Hi, Chris and Carol. I appreciate the thorough presentation. I have a two-part question. What are one or maybe even two specific interventions you believe government should incorporate into its programs or funding streams to create the greatest impact, and why?
Well, this is a topic I can get pretty animated about. And I don't have to think too hard. The one or two, and I'll go with two interventions that I think we at Fedcap are quite passionate about is implementing parent education and financial literacy across our platform. There are so many opportunities when dealing, especially in the employment space, helping individuals with barriers to economic mobility access employment through our programs. But those individuals are parents to 2, 3, and sometimes 4 times the number of children. If we can get at those children, creating sort of a double win-win approach, looking at the next generation impact, those adults who live in poverty, are not just affecting their current family, but the future of their children. There's lots of statistics to support children growing up in poverty are sometimes 4 and 5 times more likely to be in poverty themselves. So parent education and financial literacy, to me, are real opportunities to embed into throughout all of our programs. And interestingly, for example, recently the U.S. National Governors Association just called for expanding financial literacy throughout the portfolios of all of the Health and Human Services. So we're completely aligned with that. Poverty in the United States, just as an aside, it remains, at a very persistent challenge. Over 37 million people continue to live below the poverty line, and really 43 million in a more comprehensive sort of supplemental poverty measure, which accounts for regional cost of living differences and the like. Almost 16% of the children, almost 11 million, live in poverty in the U.S., underscoring this deep hardship faced by families. And so again, it links back to parent education and financial literacy, because we're focused on economic mobility as the #1 driver of our work. Programs like SNAP and TANF, these are vital lifelines. Their design limitations, however, can hinder progress toward lasting economic independence. Integrating targeted low-cost, for example, education interventions into SNAP and TANF, in addition to financial literacy programs and parent education initiatives, these can really move the dial, equipping these participants for sustained independence and upward mobility, but also affecting quite directly that next generation. So I'm hopeful that more and more governments are going to adopt these sort of add-on integrated, and I say there's no better value for the dollar than parent education and high quality financial literacy. Thanks for the question. I think it's a very important one.
This concludes our question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to Christine McMahon for closing remarks.
Thank you. In conclusion, we remain and have a strong sense of optimism for our continued success. Our proven strategy continues to deliver solid organic growth while enabling us to add new business lines such as our CDFI, Gamut and Runway of Dreams, and expand into strategic markets beyond our current footprint in the US, Canada, and the UK. For example, our new focus on Australia and Ireland. We will continue our successful acquisition strategy, building leadership and organizational capacity, enhancing data and technology infrastructure, all to support our growth. The Fedcap Group's work remains deeply rooted in driving economic well-being for all of those we serve. We ensure that participants gain the skills, credentials, and confidence to secure a positive economic future, a job. Our emphasis on focusing on fostering entrepreneurship, forging robust employer partnerships, and innovating through mission-driven social enterprises, all to create meaningful opportunities and to address the barriers to economic mobility. With proven infrastructure, tested implementation strategies, reliable capital partners such as Programmatic Bank and IDB, we have successfully expanded across the US and the UK and within Canada, and we look forward to establishing a presence in Australia. Our company platform is meticulously designed to align with these growth objectives. We're supported throughout our footprint by effective corporate services, a strong supply chain with key partners, as we mentioned, Oracle, USI, Salesforce, and many others. And of course, our highly strategic and dedicated community not-for-profit partners. At the heart of our organization lies a deep commitment to long-term financial sustainability, innovation, and measurable impact. We extend sincere gratitude to our board members, our donors, our funders, our dedicated staff and partners who work diligently to meet emerging challenges. Fedcap stands firm in the belief that every individual deserves a sense of purpose, well-being, and dignity achieved through access of education, meaningful work, and essential health supports, as well as strong communities. And by fostering collaboration, we'll continue to create opportunities for those facing challenges to economic mobility. Our approach remains steadfast, inspire individuals to believe in the possibility of a better life, foster an exchange of ideas that continuously improve our results, and to challenge our own perceptions about what is achievable for all people, despite barriers and perceived limitations. We thank you for your attention and continued support of our effort.
The conference has now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation.